Lieutenant Maya Donovan's boots echoed against the concrete floor of the abandoned warehouse. Another dead end, or so she thought. 3 months investigating an unusual human trafficking ring had led her to this desolate corner of New Seattle's industrial district. "Control, this is Donovan, nothing but empty crates and dust. I'm wrapping up," she reported into her comm unit. "Copy that, Lieutenant. Return to base for debrief." As Maya turned to leave, her scanner emitted a soft beep. She froze, eyes narrowing at the readout. Atmospheric anomalies, trace elements not found on Earth. She'd seen this pattern in 2 previous locations, both cleared out before her team arrived. "Actually, Control, I might have something. Stand by." Following the readings, Maya approached a section of wall that appeared solid but registered as hollow on her scanner. She ran her fingers along the seam, finding a concealed panel. The false wall slid open with a pneumatic hiss. "What the hell?" she whispered, staring at the corridor beyond. The architecture was distinctly non-terrestrial, flowing lines and surfaces that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Protocol demanded she call for backup, but experience told her whatever evidence lay beyond would disappear if she waited. Decision made, she drew her sidearm and proceeded down the corridor. The passageway opened into a laboratory filled with equipment she couldn't identify. Most striking were the containment pods along the far wall, 7 of them, each barely large enough to hold a child. Maya approached one, wiping condensation from its surface. She recoiled at the sight of the small figure inside, definitely not human. The child, at least she assumed it was a child, had iridescent blue skin and 6-fingered hands. Its eyes were closed, but she could see it breathing. "Step away from the pod, human," a deep voice commanded. Maya whirled, weapon raised, to find herself facing a tall, humanoid figure. His skin was deep purple with silver markings across his exposed forearms and face. Despite his alien appearance, he wore what appeared to be a tactical uniform. "Federal Immigration Authority," she stated firmly. "Identify yourself." "Investigator Vaxel Niren, Galactic Protection Agency," he replied, lowering his own weapon slightly. "I've been tracking this smuggling cell across 3 systems." "Galactic what?" Maya kept her gun steady, though her mind raced. "First contact, actual proof of extraterrestrial intelligence, and it happened in a trafficking investigation." "I understand your confusion, Lieutenant Donovan," Vaxel said, his silver eyes studying her. "Your planet's isolation status makes this complicated." "How do you know my names?" "Your communication device. I intercepted your transmission." He gestured toward the pods. "These children were taken from a refugee transport near Proxima Centauri. Their parents were killed. The smugglers bring them to non-integrated worlds like yours where they can't be tracked." Maya's gaze returned to the sleeping child. "For what purpose?" "Biological research, rare element extraction. Some species have natural abilities your scientists would find valuable." Disgust twisted in Maya's stomach. Human or alien, trafficking children is unacceptable. Something changed in Vaxel's expression, surprise, perhaps respect. "We share that conviction, Lieutenant." He holstered his weapon. "The smugglers will return within hours. I need to move these children to safety, but their life support systems require careful handling." Maya finally lowered her gun. "So what now? I can't exactly call this in without creating a planetary panic." Vaxel's mouth curved slightly. "I propose a temporary alliance. Help me save these children, and I'll ensure your superiors receive evidence of the human collaborators without revealing the interstellar aspects." Maya holstered her weapon and approached Vaxel, extending her hand. "Deal. But I want to know everything, who these smugglers are, how long aliens have been visiting Earth, all of it." Vaxel looked at her outstretched hand curiously before clasping it with his 6-fingered one. "Acceptable terms." As their hands touched, Maya felt an unexpected warmth radiate up her arm. Vaxel's eyes widened slightly, suggesting he felt it too, the first spark of a connection neither of them had anticipated. "3 guards at the southeast entrance," Maya whispered, lowering her binoculars. 48 hours had passed since their first encounter, and now they crouched in the shadows overlooking an abandoned mining facility on the outskirts of town. Vaxel nodded, his silver eyes gleaming in the darkness. "The main detention area should be underground. If this facility matches the others I've raided, the children will be held in the lowest level." They had relocated the 7 children from the warehouse to a secure location, an old cabin owned by Maya's family. But their investigation had led them here, where intelligence suggested more alien children were being held. "How many do you think are in there?" Maya asked, checking her modified weapon. Vaxel had enhanced her standard-issue sidearm with alien technology that would temporarily incapacitate most species without causing permanent harm. The energy signatures suggest at least 30 life forms smaller than adult size, Vaxel replied, his voice tight with controlled anger. We need to move quickly. The auction is scheduled for dawn. The word auction made Maya's skin crawl. She'd seen the worst of humanity in her years with immigration, but selling sentient children as research specimens reached new depths of depravity. Ready when you are, she said, securing her tactical vest. Vaxel's gaze lingered on her face. This isn't your fight, Lieutenant. You've already risked enough by keeping this off your official channels. Maya met his eyes unflinchingly. It became my fight the moment I saw those children, and it's Maya, not Lieutenant. If we're going to risk our lives together, we might as well be on a first-name basis. Something softened in Vaxel's expression. He reached out, briefly touching her shoulder with his six-fingered hand. Maya, then, let's move. They approached from the blind spot Vaxel had identified in the security system. Maya watched in fascination as he used a device to create a temporary passage through the outer wall, the molecules separating and reforming behind them once they passed through. That's incredible, she whispered. Standard GPA infiltration tech, he replied, but there was a hint of pride in his voice. They encountered the first guard in a dimly lit corridor. Maya moved instinctively, using her combat training to subdue him while Vaxel disabled the communications device on the guard's wrist. Nice technique, Vaxel murmured appreciatively. You're not so bad yourself, Maya responded, surprised by the flutter in her chest at his approval. Two more guards fell to their coordinated efforts before they reached the elevator shaft. Instead of using the lift, Vaxel produced what looked like adhesive discs for their hands and feet. These will allow us to descend silently, he explained, demonstrating how to attach them. The descent was nerve-wracking, but Maya found herself trusting Vaxel's technology implicitly. When they reached the lowest level, the reason for the heavy security became clear. The vast underground chamber held dozens of containment pods similar to those they'd found at the warehouse, but these were arranged in rows like merchandise. Each pod contained a child of various alien species, some humanoid, others dramatically different in form. Monitoring equipment attached to each pod displayed biological data and what appeared to be pricing information. Maya couldn't find words adequate for the horror before them. I've seen this too many times, Vaxel said grimly. Help me start the liberation sequence. We need to wake them gradually to avoid shock. They moved efficiently through the rows, Vaxel showing Maya how to operate the release mechanisms. The first child to emerge, a small, frail creature with feather-like hair and golden skin, clung to Maya fearfully. It's okay, she soothed, surprising herself by instinctively making a trilling sound that seemed to calm the child. She glanced at Vaxel questioningly. You have good instincts, he said, looking at her with newfound wonder. That's a comfort sound from their homeworld. The moment was shattered by an alarm blaring through the facility. We've been discovered, Vaxel said, drawing his weapon. Keep freeing the children, I'll hold them off. Not alone you won't, Maya countered, passing the child she held to one of the older released youths. We do this together. As the first wave of guards burst through the door, Maya and Vaxel moved in perfect synchronization, her Earth combat techniques complementing his alien fighting style. In the midst of the chaos, protecting each other and the terrified children, Maya realized how seamlessly they had become a team. And perhaps she thought as Vaxel pulled her behind cover just as energy weapons scorched the wall where she'd been standing, something more. Dawn broke over the mountains as Maya entered the repurposed ski lodge that now served as a temporary sanctuary for the rescued children. After their narrow escape from the mining facility, Vaxel had guided them to this remote location, a property supposedly owned by a human-friendly alien organization that had been operating on Earth for decades. Inside, Maya found Vaxel kneeling beside a small blue-skinned child who was refusing to eat. His patience, as he gently encouraged the little one, touched something deep within her. Try showing her that you'll eat it first, Maya suggested, joining them on the floor. That's what worked with Trill yesterday. Vaxel followed her advice, making an exaggerated show of enjoying the nutrient paste. The child giggled, a musical sound like chiming bells, before cautiously accepting a spoonful. You're getting good at this, Vaxel said, a smile softening his normally stern features. I spent 2 years in the foster system after my parents died, Maya explained, surprising herself with the personal revelation. I remember what it feels like to be scared and displaced. Vaxel's silver eyes studied her with new understanding. That explains your immediate connection with them. They sense your empathy. Around them, 34 children of various species were beginning to adapt to their temporary home. Some played with toys fashioned from ordinary Earth objects, while others huddled together in species groups, finding comfort in familiarity. How long can we keep them here safely? Maya asked as they walked through the large common area, checking on each group. My superiors are sending a transport ship, Vaxel replied, his shoulder occasionally brushing against hers as they navigated between the children. 3 Earth days, perhaps 4. They're being cautious about approaching a non-integrated planet. Maya nodded, trying to ignore the disappointment that their time together had a definite endpoint. And then what happens to them? Those with identified homeworlds will be returned if possible. For the others, his voice trailed off. There are orphanages in space too, I assume. Vaxel's expression darkened. Processing centers foster colonies, better than captivity but not ideal. Many will struggle to find permanent homes. They paused by a window overlooking the mountain lake. In the reflection, Maya could see several children watching them curiously. I think they believe we're a mated pair, Vaxel said, a hint of amusement in his voice. Maya felt heat rise to her cheeks. What gave them that idea? Many species recognize bonding behaviors through proximity and cooperative caregiving. His eyes met hers in the glass. We've displayed both rather consistently. Before Maya could respond, one of the smallest children, a delicate creature with transparent skin through which soft pink organs were visible, approached and tugged at her hand. Kieri wants to show you something, Vaxel translated as the child made elaborate gestures. Maya followed the child to a corner where several alien youngsters had created an intricate structure from cushions and blankets. It's a nest, Vaxel explained, crouching beside them. They've built it for us. Maya's heart constricted as she understood the implications. They're trying to thank us by giving us a home together. That evening, after the children had settled for sleep cycles of varying lengths, Maya found Vaxel outside on the deck, gazing at the stars. Can you see your home from here? She asked, joining him at the railing. Not with human eyes, he replied. It's in what you call the Andromeda Galaxy. That's a long way to travel for your job. Vaxel turned to face her. I requested this assignment. My younger siblings were taken by traffickers when I was barely an adult. I never found them. His voice held centuries of pain. Every child we save feels like honoring their memory. Without thinking, Maya reached for his hand, her 5 fingers intertwining with his 6. I'm sorry, Vaxel. He looked down at their joined hands. In my culture, this gesture is quite intimate. In mine too, Maya whispered. When Vaxel's free hand gently traced the curve of her cheek, Maya leaned into his touch. The universe had brought them together across impossible distances, through tragedy and purpose. As his face lowered toward hers, their breath mingling in the cool night air, Maya realized some connections transcended species and worlds. Their first kiss was soft, exploratory, a bridge between 2 vastly different beings who had somehow found common ground in compassion and duty, and perhaps something more precious and rare.